My name is Kate Lumsden, and I am a yoga teacher and Ayurvedic nutritionist in San Francisco. I am here to teach you how to make Kitchari. Kitchari is the Sanskrit word for mixture, and traditionally it's a beans and rice and spices dish that's put together and generally has some ghee, clarified butter. And it's used in Ayurveda for cleansing, and it's also used to give to the very sick, the very elderly, or the very young. So it's really a dish that's perfect for everyone. And today I'm going to show you how to make it in a way that's especially good for balancing pitta, the fiery dosha that can become aggravated in the summertime. Kitchari is wonderful because it is a complete protein. The blend of the beans and the rice give it all the essential amino acids that you need to digest it really well. And so because of that, it gives you excellent stamina in a really calm, wonderful way. And because of the spices, it's so easily digested that it's really healing to the system as well as cleansing. Mung beans especially have been used to cleanse the body of environmental toxins for thousands of years. Ayurveda is 4,000 years old, and this dish is in the classical texts. So it's been working its magic for a long time. So here we have our ingredients, so what we're going to be using today. So we've got the basic white basmati rice. And then here I keep, somewhat ironically, in my coffee tin, the yellow split-hulled mung beans. You could use whole mung beans, but you need to make sure that you soak them ahead of time because they'll take longer to cook, and the doshic effect is slightly different. The recipe I'm going to be giving you today is balancing for all doshas, but it's especially good for pitta, so anyone can have it, but especially in the summertime, it's great. In addition to the basics and then the spices, which I'll get to in a moment, we're also going to be using sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are wonderful for stamina. They are slightly heating, but we won't be using very much. We'll also be using for some delicious taste some coconut. And so the coconut is really great for pitta. Aggravates cough a little bit if you have too much, but it's perfect for this dish. Ghee, of course. And then in terms of fresh ingredients, we're going to have some fresh ginger. And then we have a lime, and the lime is optional. We'll be using it as a garnish, but it's tridoshic and it's a wonderful way to enhance the flavor. A squash, a little zucchini, some cilantro, which is really the pitta power herb, and I'll be talking more about that in a minute. And then lastly, what I picked up from the farmer's market this morning, some beautiful chard that's really fantastic. Dark greens and their bitter taste are especially good for cleansing excess heat from the body. Okay, so let's talk about spices. Let me go get my masala tray. Be right back. Okay, so here I have my masala tray, sometimes called a masala box. I picked this up in an Indian grocery store, and it makes life so much easier. You can order them online. This is a fairly large one, and it's where I keep all of my savory spices. I have a smaller one for my sweet spices. In here, multiple things, but what we're going to be focusing on today is the kind of the three musketeers of pitta pacification. You could say cumin, coriander, and fennel. They're great for all doshas, but they're especially great for pitta because pitta can't do so many of the spicy herbs that the other doshas can. So here we have cumin seeds. Cumin is wonderful. It's the most heating of the three herbs that we'll be using, except for turmeric. And cumin is great because it pacifies the excess heat in the body, it pulls it out, but at the same time it stimulates agni, or our digestive system, the ability to absorb our nutrients, and it's wonderful for just kind of an overheated digestive system. Next, we have coriander seeds, and coriander seeds are just really lovely. They are the seeds of the cilantro plant, so they're related to this guy over here. And coriander, as I mentioned, and cilantro, it's the same thing, are that pitta power herb. They are perfect for healing the skin as one of their special uses. You can use cilantro on your skin directly as a paste. It provides wonderful taste, and it's good for calming any inflammation. And then, lastly, fennel, one of my favorites, and the fennel seed you'll probably recognize if you've been out to an Indian restaurant. They chew it often at the end of the meal. And fennel is, again, just great for healing all kinds of heat, also especially good for the abdomen, so any kind of cramps or bloating or gas, go to the fennel. And then lastly, we're going to be using the most amazing, very researched turmeric. And turmeric is the anti-cancer, anti-Alzheimer's, anti-arthritis, wonderful for everything, promotes healing, and it tastes good. Not to mention it adds really pretty color. So I think we're ready to start cooking. Get ready, and this is so easy. Don't worry if you're not experienced with cooking, especially with these spices. Really tough to mess up. You'll do great. Okay, let's get going. To start, take 1 cup rice and half a cup of the split mung beans and rinse them until the water runs clear. To make this meal even more easy to digest, soak the beans and rice overnight. In a medium to large heavy-bottomed pot, put 1 tablespoon ghee over medium heat and let it melt. Once the ghee is melted, add 1 teaspoon each fennel seeds, cumin seeds, and the all-important turmeric. Be careful with the turmeric because it will stain your clothes and stain anything it touches, including your teaspoon measure. Once all these spices are put in, you're going to take a spoon that you don't mind, again, staining, and stir the spices. Once the spices are well distributed, you're going to add your rice and beans. Make sure you get them all, because they're very good. And then with the rice and beans, you're going to stir them and give them a good stir so that they're very well coated. Now this is a secret to making it so it's not too mushy. So the spices and rice are starting to stick to the pot. That's your cue to add 2 coins of ginger. It's okay if the skin's still on. And then your water. Generally starting out with at least 3 cups, 4 to 5 is a good idea. Give it a good stir. And then we add our coriander seeds. The coriander seeds are a little more delicate than the others, so we add them now. And we give it a good stir. And now we're really going to start cooking. So we're going to put the top on, cover it, and allow it to come to a boil. Be sure you don't turn it up too high. With a hot, small pan, here cast iron pan, you're going to put in a tablespoon of sesame seeds. Once those start to brown, you're going to add a tablespoon of coconut. You'll stir it, and then as soon as it starts to brown, you're going to turn the heat off. Checking to see if your pot is now boiling, which it is, hooray! We're going to add our coconut sesame seed mixture. And be sure you get it all in there because it's so delicious. It's really what makes this heavenly. Then we'll give it a stir. Then set the timer for 20 minutes, but check the pot at 10 for water. Now while that's doing it, we're going to cut our chard up so it's ready to be used. I'm here using 3 leaves, which was a perfect amount. You can use more or less to your taste. Cutting off the ends is optional, just cut off the rough bits, and then by stacking them, cutting them lengthwise, stacking them again, curling your fingers, very important part, and then slicing it. It's all very easy. Once you have curled your fingers until the very end and you are finished slicing the chard, you're going to set that off to the side, and then we're going to do one of my favorite things with zucchini, which is to grate it, which is really great with this because it makes the cooking time of the zucchini the same as the chard. It makes this dish just incredibly easy. So the zucchini, just as you would normally. Vegetables are less expensive than fingers, so don't grate your fingers, grate the vegetable. Now with cilantro, take the back of your knife and really hold the cilantro down as you pull in the ends, and that way you'll get most of the leaves and just a little bit of stem. You could also just pull it off individually and kind of meditate while you do it. That works too. Then folding it in half and then letting the knife rest against your knuckles and not your fingertips because your fingers are curled, give it a nice, relatively rough chop. If you find that cilantro tastes like soap to you, I am so sorry, but you can just use parsley or basil or mint, it'll work fine. Now, once the kitchari is cooked, which hopefully if that timer's done it will be, you add your salt, about half a teaspoon, and then that chard and zucchini. You can see why having a medium-large pot is very useful here. Give it a good stir, and then you may find that it needs extra water because we do want that chard and zucchini to cook. So add any extra water that's needed and continue to give it a really good stir. Once combined, you're going to want to cover it again, and it'll need a little bit longer to finish. Taste it before you serve it so you know it's done, and then you'll want to add maybe a little bit, or in my case I love it, so a lot of cilantro, and then some lime juice.
You could add a little bit more salt here, but be mindful that salt does aggravate pitta, so you don't want to have too much.
All of that wonderful, not too hard of work has paid off, and now I have a beautiful bowl of kitchari covered with cilantro and some lime juice. And if you wanted, you could even add a little extra ghee if you're working with more vata pitta. Got my fork, I'm gonna take a bite, let's see how it is. Divine. Enjoy it, make sure you're sitting down in a nice quiet environment and let your body rest and heal. Take care.